everybody. Welcome back to the Angel Angle. My name is Brandon, and this is my dad, Mike. And this is your podcast for everything Angels baseball. Was that good for you?
That was awesome.
Thank you. All right. Now that everyone knows our names and we seem more professional, we can get on with the start of the podcast.
What's up with your hats?
My hats?
Yeah.
Well, you know, as everyone knows, tomorrow is opening day. And for any baseball fan, this is like Christmas Eve. You know, this is the day before Santa comes down the chimney. I'm getting in the spirit a little bit, and I feel like this hat represents how I'm feeling at the moment.
Okay,
So,
I like it.
Well, I mean, you put on your 2002 World Series with the creepiest looking rally monkey I've ever seen in my entire life.
This is awesome.
That's not the real one.
I had to really dust this thing off and get it out of the archives.
I bet you did. I bet you did.
Hey, there's always hope in a new season.
There is.
Right? You're only shooting for one thing when you play, the World Series.
Well, not me. I just like to have fun.
Okay, well, you're different than everybody else. I just want to win.
All right.
I'm tired of losing.
Everybody, this is a very special edition of the Angels Angle. So far, all of our Angel Angles have only been talking about the off season because we started this podcast in the off season. Now, for the next, how long is the baseball season?
162 games.
like month-wise.
6 months.
The next 6 months. This podcast will be about actual Angels baseball being played.
Yeah, we'll actually be able to talk about the games.
We'll be able to talk about the games, and you will hear probably my father have
meltdowns.
Like 15-minute long mental breakdowns that I have to endure. Usually that lasts more like an hour. But today is a very special edition of the Angel Angle. We are going to talk about the finalized roster, which was announced, I think, maybe today. I could be wrong, though. I just like to make stuff up. I mess around. But we're going to talk about the major cuts. Everyone knows about the main people that made the team, right? The main competitions were the sixth spot in the rotation, the catching situation, and maybe some of the infield situation, stuff like that. Now, if for Perry and the Angels and Phil, I'm guessing Phil probably has some input on the decision-making as well. This was a very tough decision because at some point, somebody was going to get cut. Somebody was going to be left off the team.
Yep.
Somebody wasn't going to make it. God be it. The heavenly doors opened and 2 people got injured. And I'm not saying it's a good thing they got injured, but I am saying it made their decisions a lot easier. It made the decisions 10 times easier.
I think the one thing you're going to have to realize is those decisions still are not made because at some point, both of those guys are coming back.
At some point, the decision is going to be made. But at that point, you would have the people, because the people who made the team are the people who you thought might get cut. So then you'll know. Then you'll have like some reasoning. If they're not playing well, then it's understandable why maybe you moved on.
Yeah.
Or you exposed them to waivers or you sent them back down.
Well, the two guys, it was Stice and Tucker Davison were really the 2 guys that were out of options that basically were either going to get released or, exposed to waivers, which probably both would have been picked up.
Yeah, definitely.
And so we didn't want to lose either one of them, but then also that meant Ohapi not being able to start the season possibly. But yeah, I mean, there's still decisions to be made, but now we got a couple weeks extra, so we'll kind of see how things go with Theis, and it'll be nice to see Ohapi. I'm excited to see how he plays.
Yeah, so for you that don't actually know what we're talking about, we probably should have prefaced with who actually made the team. Maximus Stassi, with his big beefy legs, has another hip injury. He's been dealing with that hip for quite some time.
He didn't even play much in spring at all. He started late.
No, he didn't.
So I think obviously there's been some issues there that maybe they haven't even really.
He has grandma hips. He will start the season on the IL. And Jared Walsh is having massive headaches and he can't go to bed. He can't go to bed. And he's having a little time going to sleep, which is understandable. Happens to the best of us. He's going to start the year on the IL. He's doing like a 2-week program.
I'm just glad because he was tearing it up in spring training. I'm just glad it was nothing physical. Yeah. I mean, it's more of a mental thing, and so hopefully they'll be able to figure things out as far as his sleep.
Hopefully it's not a confidence thing, because we can boost his confidence. We all love you, Jared Walsh. Keep on doing what you're doing, Jared.
Yeah. He was looking good. I was excited. And remember, I talked about our lineup is so much better with him. That gives us that length in the lineup we wanted. So, but here's where Perry came through for us. In the past, when we would lose Jared Walsh, who did we have to replace him?
Like Mike Ford.
Yeah.
Mike Ford.
Yeah. Whoever else we tried out at first base.
Mike Ford, Theis.
Yeah. Well,
That's
at
about
any rate, the big thing is we actually have depth, and we still have
the depth is already working. We have
yeah.
Brandon Drury, who will most likely be starting the year at first base for us.
Yeah.
He also, Phil Nevin, I think Perry have also announced that Gio Urshela, at least on opening day, will start at shortstop. So that's maybe a sign that maybe Gio Urshela probably gets most of the reps at shortstop, which a lot of people maybe didn't think was going to happen at the start of the season, which means that's probably going to be a platoon kind of thing right now. Maybe at least until Jared Walsh gets back with Fletcher and Rengifo at second.
Yeah, I mean, I think I see that. I think it's going to be Rengifo though, because I mean, he looked good. He's looked good since coming back from the WBC, and had the two O's went deep for us in the final spring appearance.
It's not just O's; it's the REN.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure I saw someone do something where
Rengifo.
Shout out to No Context Angels on Instagram, but I'm pretty sure they did a thing where there are only 3 players in Major League Baseball whose last names start REN, and we have all 3 of them. It's Rendon, Renfroe, and Rengifo.
Wow.
And if you and there is potential where all 3 of those bats are back to back in the lineup, and that's pretty sick. You can go Rendon, Renfroe, Rengifo. That'd be pretty cool.
That'll be an awesome trivia question.
That would be a cool trivia question.
Yeah, people would not get that. I wouldn't have gotten that one.
Exactly. The other interesting person who didn't make the roster due to actually I don't know what to do to, but he did make the roster. Let me just double check and confirm it before I say anything. I'm pretty sure he did. Didn't Jake Lamb make it?
Yes, he did.
Jake Lamb made the opening day roster, and if you have not been paying attention, Jake Lamb has been tearing it up. He's been tearing it up in spring training. He batted .324 in 16 games with us, and he's a corner guy. I think he plays first and third. He might have played second. I don't know. But he's mainly going to be a corner guy with us, which is pretty nice. When Walsh comes back, I'm assuming Jake will probably...
Well, he's a left-handed bat, too.
And he's a left-handed bat off the bench.
Yeah, so I think that...
And the only other thing we have to talk about is Tucker Davidson. He was out of options, did make that final spot. However, it's not in the sixth starter spot until that one day in April when we need that 6th starter. I don't know when it is.
It'd be an extra bullpen
but he will be in the bullpen for right now.
Which we need because, if a guy... I think if there's a concern for me with our starting pitching, it's the fact that our guys just do not go... They don't have length. And hopefully...
With Berea and Tucker in the pen, you have length.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That helps with the length because, we've got guys that love to strike a lot of guys out, and so their pitch counts get up really high by the 4th, 5th inning, and that's the problem. And they also walk a lot of guys, so they just see, they're throwing a lot of pitches. I'm hoping that the pitch clock, I'm not liking certain things about it, but one thing I will say is that hopefully it helps these guys just stay focused on throwing instead of thinking about it.
Don't ever compliment the pitch clock.
No, but I think for Sandoval, that's going to be a good thing.
Sandoval's fine. He had a sub-3 ERA last year.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying in the sense of when things happen, he's the type that it got to him. He ain't going to have time to think about it. He's going to get out there and throw that next.
I guarantee you, if you're struggling up there, you're still thinking about it.
I'm not saying you're not. I'm not saying you're not. But when you've got more time to think of, I'm just saying. I just think for the young guys, keeping them focused on getting that next pitch out, I think is good. That's all I have to say about that. Right, not everything's good, but I do like it for that purpose. I think it helps some of our young pitchers.
I disagree. But in the outfield, Brett Phillips beat out Mickey Moniak and Joe Adele, which is to be expected.
Well, that was already a done deal.
Hashtag Mickey Moniak season. All right, and then also in the bullpen, Andrew Wantz did beat out Ben Joyce. To be expected, Ben slid out. He's on the 40-man. Andrew just makes sense. We have Ben for some seasoning later on in the year.
We'll see Joyce. There's no doubt Joyce will be up.
We will see Joyce.
And especially I think as we get towards that playoff run, that's when we're
the 104 out of the pen will be nice.
Yeah, we need that. You need all. We have a lot of diversity of different types of pitchers, and we need that. We don't have that 104, so
Yes, and also with the Tucker Davidson, Griffin Canning has a little bit of a groin issue. So,
yes, and I feel bad for Canning because he was looking really good,
really
good. But also, you just didn't want to throw away Tucker Davidson. So I think this kind of helps, and I think giving him some time in the minors for a while.
Especially after he hasn't pitched in over a year.
Yeah, I think giving him some time to kind of just get it straight. And again, if any of our guys go down, because you know it's going to happen. It's a long season. 162 is a long ways. What we're hoping for is no long-term big injuries like we've had in the past. But we will have guys, very serviceable guys, instead of guys we've never heard of, who've never thrown a pitch in the majors, and keeping our fingers crossed they can make it 4 innings was usually what we were doing. So it'll be nice to be able to have some guys that we can bring up.
Kind of like a Packy Naughton.
Yeah.
I love Packy.
Yeah. But those all worked out well.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
Who, if you're Phil Nevin tomorrow, and where Angels are up by 3 or 1, who are you bringing in to close down the game?
Wow, good question.
I know I didn't prep you for this at all.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stall a little bit because it was supposed to be Carlos Estevez.
Yeah. So
Estevez
we know
some issues.
Well, you know who I like, Mr. Herget.
Yeah, I know you like.
And the reason I say that is he's probably been the most consistently. You can count on that guy. He goes out there and he gets the job done. I mean, the guy throws strikes. His stuff's funky. People are not comfortable. And now that pitch clock, they don't have time to even think. They get back in there, and here's another funky one coming at them. And, so I don't know. I think Herget to start the season, I like him in that spot. I'm not sold. Matt Moore hasn't, he's not looked great to me. Quijada, we already know he's all over the place. He's got to kind of get his control back under control.
You know who I want closing out
Tapera,
tomorrow?
I'm just not comfortable.
You know who I want closing out tomorrow?
Quijada.
It's Jose Quijada.
No, I do not want Quijada. Quijada's not ready for that. He proved that in the WBC.
I want Jose Quijada.
No.
Shutting out tomorrow's game against
Oakland. After he hits 3 guys and loads the bases. Yeah,
that's the fun. That's the fun.
No, I'm tired. My blood pressure can't handle another. No, my blood pressure can't handle another season like that.
I'll be honest with you. I would be fine with Estevez coming in. He looked really good in the Freeway Series when we brought him in.
He looked better. I'm not saying I would have a problem with it. You're saying who, if I was Nevin, and who would I bring in? You're asking me for day one.
You're bringing in Slim Jim.
I'd bring in Slim Jim. He'd get the job done.
I'm just saying, if you want some excitement, you bring in Jose.
Yeah,
he's going to scream and yell, and his jersey's going to be ripped off at the final out, and there's going to be a benches clean brawl in the first game of the year. It's going to be awesome, and you're going to miss that out. All right?
Yeah, well, but at least I'll still be breathing, because halftime I'm having a heart attack. So
you just gotta once you let go, you don't get heart attacks.
Oh, is that it?
Once you have no expectations of winning, everything
that
gets much better. Yes.
Okay.
All right, buddy. But there is your starting opening day roster for your 2023 World Series champion Angels. But we will go on because this is the top, the main. What's it called in wrestling? The main event.
Main event.
This is the main event. We are going to do our standing projections for the year, every division, and I think I didn't actually do this, but we're going to pick our championship series teams and the World Series winner. I'll come up with that on the fly.
Well, I think we both came up with all this on the fly.
Yes, we did. We did this about 10 minutes before we started recording. But
so I'm sure people are going to argue a lot with who we picked, but guess what? You got to make a pick, because if you don't make it before the season begins, it doesn't count.
Yeah,
so,
and this is us doing our picks before the season. You want to put some money on this? Let's do it.
Well, let's find out how different we are. We haven't even discussed
let's
where we're at.
Let's just put money on it for fun.
Well, we don't know. What if we pick
$20?
the exact same
Let's
team?
do $20, and then
I'm good with $20.
Each place you get is a point.
Okay.
So if you correctly guess a position in the standings, it counts as a point.
All right. So at the end of the year, I'll remind Brandon of why I won $20 from him, and you'll see him hand it to me.
I'm gonna win.
Hopefully, you don't lose your job between now and then.
I wish I hopefully not. I wish I would have taken this more seriously now that I know there's money though.
Yeah, well, $20.
That's a lot of money.
Okay, well,
right, that's a
there
lot
you
of
go.
money.
You're right. It actually is. With inflation,
that can buy you a fry.
Actually, I think you owe me 40 because inflation. That's like
no, that's not happening. But then 8 months we're gonna be trading and bartering with like soda bottle caps. And
okay,
stuff.
well,
so we're gonna go. We're gonna go division.
Where are we gonna start? We're
gonna go division. Yeah,
okay.
We're gonna start AL West. Oh no, let's do that last. Let's make it fun. Okay, I'm gonna go NL East then. Okay.
Okay, that's quite a difference. Okay, go ahead. Give me your
opposite East. League, opposite side of the country.
Okay.
So we're gonna go. Are we gonna just name? Okay, I'm just gonna go. Ready? This is my NL East.
Okay.
Braves, Mets, Phillies, Marlins, Nationals.
Okay, isn't that exactly how the division ended last year?
Correct.
And guess what?
What?
I picked the same thing. I mean, seriously, when
We're
you think
geniuses.
about it, to me, Atlanta they're a good team. They're just so well-rounded. The Mets are not going to catch them. I just don't see it. I think the Mets
disagree.
are overrated. I think the Mets are
I
overrated.
think it's going to be very, very close, just like last year.
Well, I'm not going to say it's not going to be close, but to me, I'm going to put money on a team. I'm putting it on Atlanta.
I just like Atlanta because they're a professional organization.
They've got speed, they got defense, they've got offense, they've got awesome pitching, they've got depth. All the Mets have is a lot of money that so far is translated into injuries and overpayment of a lot of players that are going to be worthless in about 2 to 3 years.
But the Braves just have a sort of business-like class to them.
They do.
They are a well-oiled machine. The Mets are kind of chaotic.
Yeah.
Like they're very, very good,
Exactly.
but they're very chaotic. The Braves are just a well-oiled
Well,
machine.
and I know the Mets at the trade deadline will go out and buy about 12 teams.
Yes,
and
they will. But
dump the entire roster
will
onto
be
their team.
smart. They'll sit
Yeah.
with their guys.
Yeah.
They'll bring someone up from the minor leagues.
I just like Atlanta. I like Atlanta in the division. I don't think the Mets are going to overtake them.
The Nats rebuilding. Marlins.
Who knows what the Marlins are doing? Like they made a couple that
That's sexist. They have a female GM now. You can't be talking bad about the Marlins.
I don't even care who the GM is. I'm talking about the Marlins. You just haven't been able to figure them out. Like they're just like no identity. They've kind of just exist.
They're kind of
You
there.
haven't seen them.
They're kind of like us a little bit.
No, the difference between the Miami and us, Miami, they're like in the background. The Angels have all these big name players and still can't figure it out.
Yeah,
There's a big difference.
Yeah, I guess there's a
You
big
know
difference.
what I mean?
We're just totally inept. They're just kind of no man's
yes.
land.
I mean, they're just. But you can't figure out what are they trying to do? So anyway, I think we agree.
And
Washington is in total rebuild.
I still like the Phillies. It just hurts them that Rhys Hoskins is out for a long time and Bryce Harper.
Well, for the year they said.
And Bryce isn't coming back till around mid-season, which hurts them too. So
I think that early in the
slow
season
start.
that could have them a slow start, which means at the end, and they're in a tough division.
the only
That's
thing
the big
that
thing.
scares me at the Braves is that they have two starters, Soroka and oh boy, I'm blanking. I'm going to blank on the other one. But they have two guys who are down, so they're starting off with two rookies who've never even touched the big leagues yet in their starting rotation.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that might take a little bit of an adjustment period. But who knows? They are the Braves.
The Braves,
They'll probably come out and be Cy Young contenders.
Yeah, they've seemed to produce talent.
All right, so we agree on the NL East. We'll go on to the NL Central. You ready?
Okay.
I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Cardinals, Brewers, Cubs, Pirates, Reds.
Same.
Bam!
And that
We're the
is,
smartest guys alive.
that's the same as last year, except for a flip flop of Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. That's how it ended.
I think the Pirates the reason why I flipped them is just because I think the Pirates right now have a lot more of their young guys up.
Yeah.
I like the Reds pitching right now. They have Lodolo and Green, who are both very, very, very good. But I just think that the Pirates are I think a lot of their younger guys are coming up, and they have a lot of veterans too.
Yeah.
So I think they've supplemented more veterans than the Reds have, which means that they might just be a little bit better, not good.
I don't see a
When
lot.
when Will Myers is projected to hit third for you on the Reds, there's a little bit.
Well, what I just said is Cincinnati doesn't have a lot there. Sorry, I just don't see them.
Yeah,
doing
they
much
have
of
good
anything.
young people.
Well, no. Well, every team has a few good players, but what I'm talking about is, do they have any chance on an everyday basis in a series? No.
They have Jake Fraley, who's by the way, Jake
great.
Fraley is very, very good.
Yeah, well.
I love you, Jake Fraley. But I have the Cubs still third, and this is the reason why. I think that the Cubs made some very overrated moves this offseason. I know a lot of people are very bullish on the Cubs. I'm not very bullish on the Cubs.
Well, because it's a lot of if these players come back to what they were at one time.
Obviously,
moves.
Dansby Swanson's very, very good. I do think it's a little bit of an overpay, but I think everyone knows that. But Dansby Swanson, very good. I like their.
But he's not a superstar.
I know. I like. Yes,
No,
he's
he's not a superstar.
He has great hair. He's a
not.
superstar.
No, he's not a superstar.
He's a superstar.
He's that next tier down from a superstar.
Okay, I understand that. If I'm not trying to compare him to like an Ohtani or Trout or Harper or Judge kind of guy.
Yeah.
But he's a.
No, he's a good player, but he was way overpaid. And that contract's gonna be bad in 5 years. Guarantee you.
I understand, but it's not the Swanson. I love I love Horner. I love Happ.
No, it's not that they're a bad team. What I'm saying is this is the thing. I was trying to think about it. Milwaukee. their offense is not great, but they've got one of the most unbelievable pitching staffs.
Yeah.
As long as they can score 2 runs, they'll probably win most of their games. And can they score 2 runs? That's the question.
Yeah.
They lost Renfro. I mean, that was one of their big power guys, and they really didn't do anything to fix it. So what I'm saying is the only reason I didn't pick the Cubs to move up is how do you bet against Milwaukee's pitching?
It's hard to bet against their pitching.
You can't.
The only thing that might be the Cubs' saving grace, and this is why I almost flipped them, is because the Brewers clubhouse right now is in disarray. They trade away Josh Hader. People were pissed in the clubhouse about that. And I don't know if you know anything about Corbin Burns. I guess.
I heard about.
I guess Milwaukee said some pretty nasty stuff about him in the hearing.
He didn't like it.
He's not happy with them either. And guess what? He's in arbitration now, which means that Milwaukee, you already know that they're thinking of shipping him off. Corbin Burns. You already know they're
I think he would look good in red.
I don't know if you have the prospects to do that. But yes, that's what I'm saying.
Trade right.
I wouldn't be surprised if Corbin Burns got shipped off at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. And if Corbin Burns gets shipped off at the trade deadline, I think it maybe puts the Cubs in a spot to just barely pass the Brewers.
Yeah, it could. But they're more than just Corbin Burns. They just have their pitching depth's just crazy.
I know it's great, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Brewers
implode.
Because who's their guy? Was it David Stearns is the old GM? He stepped down to either a different role or he left the organization. And I don't know what the new front office is doing, but I don't know. I get the feeling that they're on the verge. Like, if this isn't the year, I think they're gonna break it down. I think they are. But
they got to do something offensively though, because that team, that's the big concern. If they would have done something with their offense,
that's the problem. They're handicapped with the Yelich contract, and they don't have besides Mitchell in center field, who's a very, very good center field prospect for them. He's going to start the year with them. I don't know of any other minor leaguers they have coming
of this group. The team I want to talk about is the Cardinals. They've got great offense. We know that. How do they patch together a pitching staff every year?
Well, every year they do it. We don't know how.
I don't know. I look at it because seriously, you know how many years I picked them to end up at second or third in the division because I just don't think they have the pitching. And at the end of the year, you're like, where did they get these guys? They pick people up off the scrap heap. Waino seems to still come through with a good year.
He has a sexy curveball.
You know what I mean? It's just amazing to me that this team somehow ends up in first place almost every year.
You know what? Because the Cardinals have the exact same aroma as the Braves, where they are just a professional organization and they are a well-oiled machine. I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Sometimes it amazes me. I'm like, every year I'm like, who's pitching for them? And they're in first place. It just amazes me. You can't. I mean, they've got great offense. I mean,
Jordan. Walker. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed right now. I can't believe I just forgot his name. Anyway, the big prospect for St. Louis just got called up, and it just made their lineup 10 times deeper. But yeah, Cardinals probably first place. So we agree on 2 divisions in a row.
Yeah, that's great. See, that $20 might be. We'll see where we're going to hit our differences. What do you got in the West in the National League?
Padres, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Giants, Rockies.
We're the same.
Dang, we're just so alike.
This is crazy. And we did not. We pulled this together 10 minutes before.
I think the American League's going to be different.
Yeah, sure. I think so.
I did some funky things.
I agree. And I just think if San Diego can't do it this year, when are they going to do it?
They're never going to.
You know what I mean? And the Dodgers, they're right for the taking down. They're still a good team because they have such depth in their minor league system. But so you can never count them out because of that. I mean, they've got talent everywhere, but they don't have the proven. They keep. I mean, what's this? 3 years in a row they've lost premier all-star players to free agencies, and they're like, okay, go ahead and go, and they find some way to replace them. But at some point, it's going to catch up
this year.
With you.
I don't think they did a good job.
No,
I don't think they have. It's Jason Hayward, David Peralta. They're calling up Outman.
Well, I think it's going to be their young guys.
I'm blanking on so many names tonight. Vargas.
Yes, Vargas.
And
Vargas looked. I was watching. Vargas looked good.
Well, again, these guys are their top prospects, so they're very, very. They will be good, very, very good.
Yeah.
Is it enough this year? Like, Is Miguel? I mean, I understand Gavin Lux was supposed to be the guy.
Yeah.
And he got hurt. But is Miguel Rojas going to replace Trey Turner's production?
No.
No. And then, I mean, at second base, you can put Mookie there and then put Chris Taylor in the outfield. You can even put Chris Taylor at second base. But is Miguel Vargas? Maybe. Is Outman? Maybe. There's a lot of maybes.
Yeah.
And then you have Heaney and Tyler Anderson coming out of the rotation. Is Syndergaard going to be the guy? Dustin May's coming back from Tommy John. You just look at the roster, and you would have thought that they would have done something more, and they just didn't. They're sticking with their young guys.
Well, everybody's saying it's because they're saving the money for.
Well, again, the Dodgers are one of the smartest organizations in all baseball. They're one of the best well-run organizations in all baseball. I wouldn't be surprised if they still won 100 games. At all.
Yeah.
But you look at the roster, and you just have the feeling, and I'm sure a lot of Dodger fans have the same feeling. Like, I know
it's a nervous one. They're not as confident as they were.
Like, you know, the Outman and Vargas and all these young guys you brought up, and J.D. Martinez probably still has something left in the tank, and David Peralta is a good player. Yeah. But you just get that feeling where you're like,
But none of those guys are difference makers. They have, you know what I mean? I don't know. I agree. Their lineup isn't as deep and scary as it used to be.
No, it goes, was it Betts, Freeman, Smith? And then from there,
it's a mishmash.
It's a mixture of all those guys.
And I mean, you go down the line, but it's just this mixture and mesh of guys that, I mean, good players, but nobody's scary. There's not like you're looking and going, oh, I'm afraid to face this
When we face the Dodgers this year, I will not be as scared as their offense as I will their pitching. Usually it was the offense, you're like, oh my gosh, these guys are going to score 8 runs off us. Yeah. When I went to the Freeway Series last year, the Dodgers scored like 15 runs off us. But it was... Now it will be the pitching staff I'm still scared of. Which, by the way, even their pitching's amazing, but it's still, I think, a little worse. I just think they got worse than last year. Yeah, and based off because the Padres beat them in the playoff last year and how much the Padres improved. Yeah, I think I have the Padres surpassing them. Yeah. I have the D-backs at third. I love their young team.
I do too. That's why I have them at third as well.
And I think the Giants are overrated.
And I agree with you. The one thing the Giants. Their starting pitching staff could be good.
Yeah, Logan Webb's really good. Cal Cobb's good.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've got a good start. Good. Yeah, but you know, they had that 2 years ago that
108 wins.
Yeah, that 108 wins that came out of nowhere, and they fell flat with the same team the year after, which pretty much tells you that they just played above their heads. So I don't know. I don't see them being in the mix at the end. I mean, they'll probably first half have, hanging with the pack, but I just don't see them with. There's too many good teams in that division.
Mitch starting on the IL.
Yeah, there's just too many good teams in that division, and when there's a lot of good teams, even though you don't have to face your division as much, I think it went from like 19 to 20 to 15, 14 to 15
It's
times.
A big difference.
It's 5. It's 5 because it's 5 less games from each one of your division foes. It is. So that's like
all those crappy teams in the league you can't get the face.
I know. So it's going to
everyone's record's going to go a lot closer to 500.
I know. Yeah. Well, I think that I like it because it makes it a little, especially when you're in these divisions that you just pound on each other, and then you got these, and you know what I'm talking about, the 2 central divisions. You've got 1 or 2 good teams, and the rest of the teams are like, sounding boards. So it makes like when we were talking about St. Louis. What made St. Louis and Milwaukee look great? Because they had the Cubs, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati in their division, and they were facing them 20 times. Yeah. That's 60 guaranteed wins. Like, you know what I mean? So you really have to look at those things when you've got in the Central in both leagues is, I don't know. I just feel that's the weak spot in both leagues, and there's a couple of good teams, and everybody else is, So I think it is going to, and I think it's going to help the Angels. Not because where have we done bad every year?
It's our division.
It's been our division. So anyway, we're not there yet. So that's the National League.
The Rockies are the Rockies.
Rockies. I feel bad for Bud Black.
The Rockies.
Why he took that job? That's just a no-win. I just don't see you winning there.
The Rockies are the only organization that make me feel good about the Angels front office and everything like that. And that says a lot.
Yeah.
All right, we will move on to the AL East.
Okay, what do you got?
This is where I think we're going to start to differ.
Okay.
All right. I got Blue Jays, Rays, Yankees, Red Sox, Orioles.
Wow, we will differ.
All right. Go ahead.
Not on everything. I've got Toronto.
All right. Boom.
Yankees.
No.
Boston.
No.
Tampa Bay. No. And Baltimore.
All right.
Well, and this
we agree on the Orioles being last, which I think a lot of people are bullish on the Orioles.
They didn't do anything. So to me, you've got this young team that took this big step forward. What do most young people do after first year?
A little bit of a slump.
A little bit of a slump, and they didn't add anything. So again, I'm not saying they're a bad team, but they're in a good division. So by not doing anything, I think they're taking a step back. And this is my thing. Tampa Bay, we know it's Tampa Bay. They find some way to come up with. I look at their batting order every year, and I'm like, how do they do it, right?
I've learned you never go.
I agree, but last year they took a slight step back, and I don't see that they did anything great in the off season. So I kept them back.
Yeah, Zach.
The one thing that I was thinking about is Boston.
You have the Red Sox third,
and I know that's crazy for a lot of people, and it's not. There's a couple things about Boston. Look at their history. Boston loves to have this. They're a roller coaster team. They're dead last. They win the World Series. They're dead last. They win their division. They're dead last. And I just think they have a lot. There's a lot on that team. Of course, everything's going to pivot on what they're pitching. And they've got a lot of pitchers that if
things go right,
they're
really good.
They're a really good team. And their manager
is good.
They've got a good manager. And I just think he'll find a way to make it work, and they're not going to have to face as much of their own division. And I think Boston against some of these other teams, I don't know. It's just the way I felt about it. And I think the Yankees are going to take a step back. Look, we were talking about how the heck did the Yankees score all those runs? Because you look at their lineup, and we know it was Aaron Judge. And Aaron Judge is a great player, no doubt about it. Is he going to have another same season again? Most likely not. Could he? Anything's possible.
He is Aaron Judge.
But I don't know. To me, there's no depth in the Yankees. They have injuries. The Yankees are in trouble. Yeah. And their pitching staff is starting off. Injured. 3 of them are already on the IL to start the season. I don't know. I just don't see them getting out of the gate fast. I just don't see them. I see Toronto finally having the season they've been waiting to have.
This is their year.
In dethroning the Yankees.
It's not just that. I think it's Toronto's rotation. I think you throw a 3-headed monster with Manoah, Gosman, and maybe Barrios, and then you have Kikuchi, and then Bassett. And then
Bassett. Yeah, Bassett was a good pickup. I wanted Bassett. Bassett was a good pickup.
That's a very, very good rotation.
Yes.
Especially if Barrios can go back to the way he is.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. They're going to have an insane rotation. They have a solid bullpen, and the offense is
their offense is...
And they made their park more hitter-friendly, did they not? Or was it more pitcher-friendly? They did some massive renovations to their park. We're going to find out. I totally forgot. But I don't have the Red Sox there. Let me be very clear about this division. I have every team within like a very, very small margin. I mean, these teams can get flip-flopped almost any single way. I think the Orioles are still going to win high 70s. I don't see the Orioles winning low 70s.
Oh, no, I don't. I'm not saying this is a strong division, so I think everybody's going to have good years. I'm not saying any. There's no. You know where all the wins are coming from.
Yeah,
the Central. I mean, people are going to bombard the Central and the A's.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The A's are going to get bombarded.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Central almost doesn't have a team almost above 500.
Central's it's going to be tough, and I'll go. You're going to go into the Central. Are we done with our talk on?
The only thing I want to talk about is the Yankees because I have them third. You have the Yankees second?
I would love to pick the Yankees third. I have them second.
I went Yankees third.
I would love to pick the Yankees because I hate the Yankees.
I think I have to defend this because it is a little bit of an outrageous claim. Yeah. I did look at their. If you guys don't know about the run differentials and the, I'm going to mispronounce this. Something's wrong with me today.
Yeah, you're not yourself. You're usually all over this stuff.
The words aren't coming out right, but it's the Pythagorean. It's not the Pythagorean theorem, but it's something like that. And it's just basically, if you don't know, it's runs scored, runs against, subtracted underneath, right, something divided by the runs against something. It basically is a very, very accurate predictor of a team's record, right? But there's 1 or 2 teams every single year, maybe 3, that just completely go away from their run differential and outperform or underperform extremely. The Yankees, according to that last year, had 7 more wins than what they would have had, what they were supposed to do. That is an extreme deviation from the mean.
Yeah.
So even if you bring them back to that mean, they're a low 90 win team.
Yeah.
Do you think that they got better? Obviously, they got Carlos Rodon. Humongous pickup. He's hurt. What else did they do to the offense? It's the exact same offense. Yeah. It's the exact. They got the rookie. Besides their shortstop, who is hopefully going to be not hopefully.
Yeah.
But he's going to be probably good.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything. The only thing they did was add Ronaldo.
And they got older.
And they got older.
Because they got some old guys on that team.
I mean, when you got Josh Donaldson, man, down third base, this isn't 2015. This is 8 years later.
Yeah.
All right. I that's why I'm third.
That's because no one will take them. They don't want them.
But that's why. But that's
They're stuck with them.
That's why I have them third. And I know it's a kind of a boldish claim, and also I hate them, so that's why they're third.
Well, look, I'm trying to be realistic at the same time. I didn't want to see the Yankees win it either, and for my coworker Charlie, that's for you.
Take that, Charlie.
Take that, Charlie. I'm sure the phone will ring tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
I'm sure if he's even watching. I don't know. He
probably
might not. He probably won't be watching. But if Charlie does get some of this, he can give me a call. When we face the Yankees, we'll bring Charlie on and see what Charlie has to say.
I'll have to bring Michael on when we face the Padres.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Here's the AL Central. Let me be very clear again. I don't think any of these teams pass maybe 85 wins.
Okay.
I have. Get ready.
Okay.
I have Twins, Guardians, White Sox, Royals, Tigers.
Okay, we have one difference. Flip-flop the first and second. I have the third,
fair.
Fourth, and fifth. And this is so I was thinking about this too, because I almost picked Minnesota. But because I just think the White Sox are overrated. They've underperformed, and I know they got a new manager. They don't have someone sleeping in the dugout now as a manager.
The atmosphere.
Yeah,
the atmosphere is just so tight. I just feel like they're like so inside their own heads. Like whenever I watch a White Sox game, I feel like fun doesn't even exist. Like I just feel like, especially with the management last year. Yeah. I just feel like I don't know what it is, but it's just their players. I think and obviously I'm not in the clubhouse, so it could be completely different. Probably is, but whenever I watch a White Sox game, I just feel like everyone has a stick up there. You know what? And it's just I don't know what it is about it. I just get the ick when I see the White Sox. I don't know what it is, but I have the White Sox third. So you have the Guardians winning the division.
I have the Guardians winning the division.
I can totally see that.
And I will say I was thinking about this. What's the difference? So we know Cleveland has good pitching.
Yes,
their offense is a couple of good. They've got a
suspect.
Couple of good offensive players. Everything. So they might have three
they
or
are
four
a small ball team.
Yes, and exactly, they're a small ball team. I think the difference is manager.
Tito is very.
Tito, to me, is such an underrated manager.
He's one of the best managers.
I think he is, and so I think he's the difference between why they will win the division.
And Rocco Baldetti.
Yeah, I'm nothing against Rocco, but Tito, I mean, that guy, he's amazing. His players love him.
Yeah.
He knows how to run a bullpen. I wish we had a manager that knew how to run a bullpen.
I mean, this guy, loose
he does, and he knows how to. Everything he does turns to gold. Like, I'm going to pick this guy to do this. Boom, it works out. I mean, the guy's just smart. He knows what he's doing. I would have loved to have Tito as a manager. I mean, I don't know. I'm picking Cleveland for that reason. I just think they have a manager. I don't think a manager always makes the difference. If you have a great team, you have a great team. That, AKA Aaron Boone. Okay, go put any other name in there. The Yankees are still the Yankees. Yeah. Sorry, Aaron Boone. I don't think you make all that big of a difference in where the Yankees go or don't go. Now, I think you could have really bad managers that can definitely screw things up.
Like a Tony La Russa
last
year.
Yeah. Well, when you're sleeping in the dugout in the second inning, that's probably not gonna cut it. I mean, La Russa was an awesome manager back in the day, but they should have never brought that guy out of retirement. He was still taking naps,
Well, and the whole thing about the White Sox is that they were supposed to be a young.
Yeah.
I know this is like a young progressive.
Yeah.
Kind of swag team, and then they bring in Tony La Russa.
Yeah, old school.
That was like the worst.
Oh yeah, the players hated him immediately. He was doing things that they were like,
Well, even when they hired him, like that is like the wrong person to bring in for the White Sox.
Yeah. And the GM did it just because, I didn't bring him in when I had the chance 50 years ago, and I regret it. So I'm going to do it now when he's been retired for 10 years. And the guy, I mean, you even looked at him, and it was not a good move.
All right, I want to talk about my Twins pick, but before that, we'll just go with the Tigers are one of the worst ran organizations in the world, and they are going to suck very, very bad. Anytime you get
they got a good manager, but. Poor guy, they're giving him nothing.
Javi Baez, that more money, he's batting third for you. It's a problem.
Well, they fired their general manager like last minute. Like,
Well, the guy had been running the organization for like 10 years.
I know, and was running it into the ground.
So the guys, the new guys got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. I just don't see them. And Kansas City has some good pieces.
Very good pieces.
They have some good and they brought in some good veteran pieces.
I don't know anything about the new manager. I know his last name starts with a Q. It's like Quartiro or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
He looks kind of nerdy to me. I'm sorry for why. I know you're not watching this, but I know you're probably not. But I don't know. I don't like him.
Well, the thing is, I don't know anything about him.
But
Kansas City always seems to, I think they surprise teams. So in other words, I think they could be a little better than what people think they're going to be. But
their
they're not
breed
going
of
to be.
baseball is just different than any other team. The Royals always is. At least that's from my experience growing up, because we got roiled in 2014.
Well, that's the only time you ever remember the playoffs.
I know with defense, bullpen, and speed. We got roiled. But I do have the Twins first.
Oh, and the big thing about the Kansas City Royals, I heard Steve Physioc retired. Broadcaster. He retired. So I guess Rex is, I don't know who his new partner is, but
just me by himself.
But Rex Hudler, I love Rex. I still miss Rex Hudler. My favorite all-time Angel broadcaster for fun. You like fun?
I like fun.
I always told Brandon, you would have loved Rex Hudler.
I've seen Rex Hudler.
I know you do, but I mean, just watching him, guy is entertaining. I just love Rex Hudler. He just makes things fun. You got to laugh. He's passionate. He's a good guy. I like him. Anyway.
The Twins.
What do you got?
I have them winning the division under one condition. If this condition is not met, then
nobody gets hurt.
One particular person.
Okay.
If Byron Buxton stays healthy, the Twins win the division. If he doesn't, the Guardians win the division.
And how many times has he stayed injury-free?
Almost never.
Exactly.
But this is the year. Because Byron Buxton, when he's healthy, is one of the best players in the game. Like, he is up there with the main superstars.
You know what his problem is? He needs to learn how to not take it down a couple of notches, because he always gets injured on plowing into something, doing. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, maybe your passion's there to do these great things, but you're hurting your team and yourself in the long run, because you're out for 3 months from some dumb injury that could have been avoided. So what? You let one ball, I don't know. He's a great player. And you're right.
He's a fantastic player.
If he plays a whole year, absolutely, I think they would have a great shot at the division.
If he plays a whole year, the Twins win the division.
But Tito's just, I don't know. But but the Twins, I don't know. I'm not sold on their pitching staff at all.
I am.
No, I'm not. But the bottom line is they've got enough offense, especially if Buxton's healthy. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
All right, here it is.
American League West, people. What you guys have been waiting for, I know. What are we going to do with our Angels? What do you got for me? Yes.
First, A's.
Yeah. Okay. We break into this program. I'm taking someone away in a straitjacket. Okay, right. What do you got?
I have Astros.
Okay.
Angels. Rangers, Mariners, A's.
Wow. We have some similarities and some differences. Actually, the only thing you got to flip-flop for me is Seattle and Texas.
Yeah.
But I do have Houston. Until Houston proves that they can't do it, you can't bet against the team, no matter how much you dislike them. You can't bet against that team.
Yeah, until
they also have a great manager.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they have a great manager. And like I said, great managers make a difference. Really bad managers could make a difference, but most managers don't. A team plays. But
Dusty's one of those guys.
Dusty's is one of those guys. When he was out there, that was another one. Him and Washington I wanted. But anyway, back to it. Houston definitely is the class of the division. Can't bet against them. I did pick the Angels second.
Because we're the best.
Well, let's put it to you this way.
We're awesome.
I think we have the best chance we've had in the last 7 years. We have the most depth we've had in the last 7 years. We can withstand some injuries and not look like total and complete idiots in our lineup, both starting pitching. The big question mark for us is what? Bullpen.
Oh yeah.
Bullpen is our question.
And you know what? I saw fan graphs. They did projections on everyone's bullpen and they ranked them. You know where the Angels ranked
30th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our bullpen does not project out well. That's why I said Nevin really needs to let guys pitch deeper into games. We are not going to be successful We are not going to be successful if around the 5th inning he's coming out already with a hook because they're at 88 pitches.
I feel like
it's just not going to go.
Like Nevin isn't one of those guys, though.
He did it, but it wasn't his team. I'm giving him a fresh slate because he inherited a lot of stuff, and he was trying to figure it out. I mean, all of a sudden one day they fired the manager, and they're all of a sudden going, "Oh, you want me to manage?" So I get it. I mean, you got to give him a pass on last year. I'm just saying, I don't know what he's going to do. I'm just saying, if he does not start getting length, these guys need to go 110, 115 pitches and stop with all the counting numbers and, oh my gosh, the guy got to 78 pitches. I said I was only going to give him 77. I'm going to go get him. And the guy's pitching great. And then you bring in our blow pin and we blow the whole game. Now, the difference is this year, I think we have some different looks in the bullpen, and our offense is 100% better as long as we don't have any. And look, we're not going to have Walsh for the first few weeks, and I don't think it's going to hurt us.
No.
So, and again, I love Walsh. Walsh extends it, but because we have pieces to move around, and I think the same thing with our pitching staff. If Suarez starts off because he usually doesn't start off well, if he's struggling, we've got guys we could bring up.
Yeah.
That we know we're going to be in a good place. So
we have Griffin waiting right there.
100%.
And
so
Tucker in the pen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or Maria or whoever else.
I know. So what I'm saying is, we've got even still Seth. I mean, I think
I
think he showed that he's not far off. We've got a lot of guys, but so what I'm saying is that. Do a lot of things have to go right? Yes, but you know what? It's been going wrong for us for 7 years.
The law of averages.
Exactly. I mean, we've had every crazy injury you could think of. Every year we're missing 2 or 3 of our stars for over half the season. Everything that can possibly go wrong. People dying, drug overdoses. Every year it's some other thing. Firing the manager in the middle of the year. I mean, we have crazy stuff that happens. And this, I'm just telling you, if everything goes right, and that's with every team. Most teams, everything has to go right. If everything goes right for the Angels, they're the second best team in the division. But I will say this: I think if we're in it, the thing they're going to have to focus on is the bullpen. We've got to go find some bullpen.
Oh yeah, you
pieces.
Definitely go get bullpen pieces.
We have to get bullpen pieces. But beyond that, I think that will really determine things.
For me, it's Anthony Rendon. Oh. If you can have the Anthony Rendon of Washington,
he's looked great.
He's looked. And by the way, he's looked great.
Yeah,
just look at the
so
one.
Relaxed.
Just look at the one, and he looks healthy. Like he's effortlessly putting the ball.
Oh yeah,
deep.
He's back to Tony two bags. Everything is doubles.
And when you looked in the past couple of years, he would struggle to kind of. I mean, you saw that. I think I saw he barely hit it into that left field corner. Like it was barely over 300, and he looked like he was swinging out his freaking shoes. Yeah. This guy, he hit one off the end of his bat, looked like all in front. And he launched it into left center in spring training. Looks great. If you go that board, Trout, Ohtani, Rendon, Renfroe, just that 1 through 5, that's one of the best 1 through 5s in all of baseball, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And then you have the depth pieces in the back end with the Drury, Urshela, Fletcher, Renfifo, and Ohapi, and Stassi, all those guys. You just can't lose.
No, I'm telling you, we're so much deeper. There's a lot of things have to go our way, absolutely. But like you said, law of averages, we've taken our lumps, and it's the Angels' turn.
It's our turn.
And if everything goes right, and we need it to go right too to have any prayer at Ohtani. So, I see this being an Angel fan, I want to say we're going to win the division, but I know that you can't dethrone Houston until
Altuve's on the IL?
No, they do. Well, they've been missing Altuve. They've missed guys. They're another team that just has pieces everywhere. They have tons of depth, that team. So you're just not going to count against Houston. But you picked Texas and Seattle. I think we've all talked about Texas. Are they improved pitching staff-wise? Absolutely. But it's a very volatile pitching staff.
Very volatile pitching
And so if too many things go wrong, they're not going to be there. And their bullpen isn't anything special. And their offense, other than about 3 guys, they're like the Angels of last year. They got 3, maybe 4 guys you could count in there. And after that, it's an explosion of just throwing guys out there. So their offense is not there. So their pitching is going to have to be really strong. Could it be? Absolutely. If all those guys stayed healthy, great. I mean, right now, I'd love to dethrone any Dipoto ran team, I do not want to see succeed.
Yeah, my Texas pick was out of straight just hatred for the Mariners. That's basically all it was. But also no, but look, look, everyone's like talking about the Texas Rangers rotation, and I'm also a disbeliever where I'm thinking like it's not going to be as great as everyone makes it out to be. However, if it is, then it's a problem.
No,
it's a very, very big problem with DeGrom, Evaldi.
Well, they're gonna have to because I don't think they have the offense to stay in games. Otherwise, if they don't
disagree
pitch well,
a little bit. I think I looked at their lineup. I really, really like their 1 through 4, 1 through 5, especially if Robbie Grossman can come back to where he was in Oakland. Okay. It's just those bottom pieces.
That's the Angels. Yeah, last year. And we had, if they have 1 or 2 injuries, what do they have?
It's not
3 batters.
It's not the Angels of last year. The difference is no, it's not. Because the difference is with Texas is that their bottom half and our bottom half for the past couple of years is that our guys are guys from the AAA and AA level that have no business being up there. They're not ready. The guys in Texas's bottom half of the lineup have been in the major league level for years, and they're young guys who have a lot of ceiling. That's the difference. That's what
I'm saying is
that's what just makes them scary.
No.
When you're bringing up Magneuris Sierra from the Angels, is a lot different than maybe like a Tavares from the Rangers or Heim or Garver.
I'm not arguing that. What I'm saying is if they have 2 of their key batters go down, that offense does not. Again, I'm not saying they're not going to score any runs, but their pitching is going to have to be really good for them to win games. And also, what's in their bullpen? I don't think they have anything special going on in their bullpen.
They have a Taylor Hearn, I think.
So what I'm saying is I just don't think that they're quite there yet. Could it happen? Absolutely. I mean, if their starters came through and all of them pitched great, they're going to be a tough team to deal with. But if it's not, I don't see them being somebody we have to worry about. In Seattle, I think we both said it. They're a good team. You can't say they're not a good team.
Pitching's very good.
Yes, they're pitching. Well, that was obvious last year. How many times? I mean, their pitching kept them in so many games because their offense was inept.
Good. The additions they made was Teoscar Hernandez, who was very, very good.
Yes.
And Colton Wong, who was good.
Yes. Well, again, I think
I don't know.
They're a good team. The question is are they going to be able to repeat what they did last year? Sometimes you take a step forward, sometimes, and how are they going to handle injuries and what's going to happen? And that's what it comes down to. That's every team.
Now there's a pressure because now they're no longer the underdogs in the division. Now people are projecting for them to be the top dogs in that division.
I don't know if you saw the MLB's power rankings that came out.
No, I didn't.
To start, so they did the opening day power rankings. So they did the top 10. Well, they did it all, but they did the top 10 power rankings, right? And Houston and Seattle were in it. The Angels were nowhere to be seen.
How high up was Seattle?
They were towards the bottom of the top 10, I think, if I remember correctly. And they also did the top 10 offenses. We weren't in the top 10 offenses, which I don't understand that at all.
I don't understand it either. But you know what I did see? They did the top 10 rotations.
Yeah.
And guess what we made? We made a pitching list. We were tied for 10th.
Oh.
So
I didn't see that
finally, people are starting to catch up with what's actually going on with us.
Well, I think the WBC opened some eyes.
And finally, people are realizing that it's not the pitching anymore. Because I'm getting so sick and tired of the comments like, oh, and they need more pitching. They have no pitching. Oh, is this a pitcher? That's not a pitcher. Shut up, dude. You have no clue what you're talking about. No. Angels pitching was one of the best in the league last year. Yeah, the offense was horrendous.
Well, the offense was horrendous, and our bullpen was too. We had
not even the bullpen.
The blow
last year, no.
Yeah, it was still a blowpen. Yes,
you look at the numbers; they weren't.
It was not our strong suit.
I'm not saying it was our strong suit.
Okay,
but they weren't bad. They were above league average.
Okay,
they were.
Okay. But all I'm saying is
that's how bad the offense was. Okay. That's how bad it was. The pitching's I don't think it's that big of a problem. And I don't agree with the Fangraphs 30th. When you have us below like the Rangers and the A's, I just think that's disrespectful.
Well, this is the thing I was thinking about that. I was looking, I think they had us like 17th or something like that in power rankings. Okay.
17th?
Yes, 17th. We were below the Cubs. Okay, we're right below the Cubs. I think they were like 16. Don't quote me, but I think that's where we were. Can I tell you right now? I love it.
I like that too.
Because honestly, I don't want to be in the top 10.
Yeah.
Because it seems like every time there's expectation, then I get it because you know how many times MLB, all the different MLB sports writers and different networks and stuff come out and have said, "Hey, this is the Angels' year." They've done it multiple times, and multiple times we've made everybody look like a fool. So I don't think anybody's going to choose us until we prove it. So I get it, but the bottom line is that I don't want us to be. I want us to be the underdog, because I just think that makes us more dangerous than going in there and saying, "Oh yeah, the Angels they're starting off in number 10 or in the top 10." I don't know. I think that's more pressure than we need. I'd prefer to be 17th and then surprise a bunch of teams as we move up the rankings.
One more thing about the Rangers, about that run differential. They were the unluckiest team in terms of run differential last year. They should have been 9 games better. They should have been 77-85.
Was that their manager? I don't know.
I never liked him. I already forgot his name. I can't remember any name tonight, so.
Yeah, you're not good. And I never remember anything.
Know,
so without you
we just
to help me, yeah, it's not a good thing. So, well.
And they also have Bruce Bochy.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. They have Bruce Bochy now. So we'll see how that goes. You know what? This is the thing. I love Boch. I always love Boch. Boch is a good manager. But you also, guys go away for a few years and come back. I don't think that just automatically makes him go right back in there and be able to be great his very first year back. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. He's not La Russa. He's not that old. But you also wonder, sometimes guys disconnect a little bit. It's been, 4 or 5 years since he's managed?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And I love Boch. There's no doubt. If a guy's going to do it, Bochy will. I love his personality. He was the only manager to ever take the Padres to the World Series and San Francisco to their first World Series and win it. Or no, not first World Series. Win their first World Series. Sorry. Win their first World Series.
Oh, okay. They've only won? No, that can't be right.
That was their first Giants as San Francisco Giants.
2010, that was their first one against the title. Oh, wow.
Yes. So great manager, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, they made good moves. It's going to be a tough division. Let's just put it this way. Other than Oakland, it's going to be a tough division.
And even Oakland.
Well, Oakland always finds some way to be pesky. They're pesky.
I don't know if it's just us, but we always
struggle. Well, I know. I just said, watch. We'll drop opening day somehow to Oakland. And
we suck opening day in the first place.
Yeah.
And then against Oakland, it's even worse.
Yeah.
I hope you guys all remember when we brought in Holden Milner.
I think they said since 2013 or something like that. I don't remember the exact year. We've won one.
Yeah.
We've won one opening day since 2013. And do you know this is, out of the last 6 years, I think the 4th time we've opened in Oakland. I'm like, who comes up with these schedules? What do we keep opening in Oakland for?
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
But, okay, really quickly, if you want to go and do your World Series.
Oh, yes, we got that still to do.
I don't even have my pick, so I'm just going to make it up when you go.
Well, this is what I thought about. Okay, AL. I'm saying it's going to come down to Toronto and Houston. And I would love to say the Angels, but I'm trying to be realistic. I think the Angels need to get there, and anything can happen, as you know, and if you're the hot team. But I just don't believe in our bullpen, and I think you have to have a great bullpen to move through the playoffs. And so I'm going to say that it's Toronto and Houston, and I'm going to pick Toronto over Houston, which would be a big upset. And then for the National League, I'm going to go Atlanta and San Diego.
Yeah.
And Atlanta coming out. And it's going to be a Toronto and Atlanta World Series and Atlanta winning it all. That is my prediction. You heard it here, folks.
The Atlanta Braves?
Atlanta Braves.
All right, here's my prediction.
2023.
You want this?
Here, give it to me.
It's Angels-Astros in the championship series.
Okay.
Angels win, of course.
Okay.
And then we'll go, no, I don't really know. We'll do... let's do it. Let's do Padres Dodgers. We'll do the NL West and AL West. Dodgers Padres NLCS.
Do the Dodgers get revenge on the Padres?
One second. I'm gonna do some quick research right now because it's kind of like
I gave you 10 minutes.
I didn't do anything with it.
Well, I'm telling you.
Let me just flip this coin real quick. Tails. All right, Padres. Angels, Padres. Angels win. Angels are 2023 World Series champions. And Shohei Ohtani stays with the Angels, signs a 10-year, $600 million contract.
I don't think any Angel fan will argue with that. Is it realistic? I don't know. Anything can happen. If you can get to, I say, just get to the playoffs, because anything, the best team doesn't always win in the playoffs. It's a hot hand. But I just don't think the Angels have the bullpen depth to win a World Series.
You are a hater.
So,
everybody.
We'll see what happens. But
you're a hater.
I'm trying to be realistic.
You're
I want to keep my excitement in check. Because
that's
every
not
year,
realistic.
When
you have Jose Quijano.
Can I tell you? Yeah. Every year I get myself so worked up. And again, right now we're World Series champions in my brain, because we're going to be that until we're not. But if you're telling me to sit down and put something together, that's what I came up with. I like Atlanta going back and repeating as World Series champions.
You're wrong. Everybody, have a great night.
Thank you for watching the Angels.
Get some friends and family tomorrow. Together, watch the Angels probably lose to the A's in the Coliseum in front of 50 people. Have a good night, everybody.
55.
55, okay. 55.
Have a good night, guys.
Have a good night.